to try to figure out ELA Common Core.
Yeah.
Math is nicely organized. That's why I showed
and
you.
it's organized differently than the ELA standards, and that's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
have domains for math, and then standards for ELA, and the ELA standards are much broader and open
Yes.
to teacher interpretation.
I would say significant interpretation. That's why a lot of the resources coming out of PARC and the assessment series are ELA designed to add clarity. The thing with this is math is very well organized. English, you could argue, is organized, just very differently. So in English, there are actually anchor standards for 4 categories. And they sound very, very, very similar. You have 10 general standards in reading. You switch out the word reading to the word writing. For example, if a child should be able to read proficiently for their grade level, the writing standard would be a child should be able to write proficiently for their grade level, in a general sense. You then start adding in 6 other standards. You have this pair, general standards in speaking and listening, and then general standards in language. So these are kind of paired together. And then reading and writing are paired together. If you have an exercise, let's say you have an exercise where a child is reading a passage and responding back to the passage. Obviously, you just addressed what? Reading and writing.
And possibly language.
And you could also incorporate language, etc. So the way, we're going to look at the state's toolbox and their recommendations on how to teach this as a guide, but it is very general. There's no chapter a week, and really there's not a lot of direction for you to be able to do this. But of course, no one can tell you you're doing it wrong unless the kids are scoring back. So there's no specific standards for English at all. You have those general standards, and that's it. But however, you do have 4 versions for each. So let's just look at that for a second. Now these don't get as specific as the math. They're just kind of overview standards. For example, in 1st grade, they should be able to ask and answer questions about key details in a text. Okay? And this is for literacy. If I go here, and I go for writing, and I go for grade 1, then you see they're just slightly different. But in general, they're pretty much the same. So I know that gets kind of confusing.